The Premier League is back, and we start at Old Trafford this weekend against Manchester United. It's the battle of the strikers, Gyökeres versus Sesko. How will we get on? We're going to preview the game. We finished our pre-season with 2 games at the Emirates against Villareal and Bilbao. What did we learn from both of these games? Do we still have concerns, or are we ready to mount a title challenge? Everyone else is doing a league prediction, so why don't we as well? We're going to predict who will be in the top half and who's going to be in the relegation spots, and some thoughts on the season itself. It's all happening here on episode 8 of Red Lines and Half Spaces. Welcome, everyone, to episode 8 of Red Lines, Half Spaces. The Premier League is back, baby. This weekend, it all starts again. We're going to go to Old Trafford on Sunday, I forgot. We are the main attraction this weekend, and I can't wait. But look, there's another main attraction here. It's my co-host, Joseph.
We are going to beat that introduction this year, are we? Jesus.
No. I'm going to try. You know, my hosting skills are getting ever better. Segues are going to get better, and
those Barclays vibes are just spreading like wildfire, aren't they? Even into the podcast, the excitement is palpable.
How are you feeling about the start of the Premier League?
I'm really looking forward to it, mate. Now, I think last year I needed the break. I think a lot of fans thought, do you know what? Like, I need to get away from football for a while. But after a few weeks, you're like, I'm ready. And now pre-season's out the way, so you're starting to see like
you need a little distraction because you've got a lot going on. You need that little distraction, don't you?
I need something to take my mind off of life. So
that's what all men are doing, isn't it? It's the distraction from life, isn't it? Sorry to everyone else who watches. That's a very male orientated thing.
Life's very hectic for me at the moment. So football has always been the constant through my 35 years of existence. So
it is
long that it's back, and buzzing to get started, mate. Really looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing how we're going to do because, and we're going to touch upon it now in the pre-season. You know, pre-season was an interesting mixed bag, I would say. You go from, that meme where you go from it's all over to we're back, baby. It's real to be back in, hasn't it? I mean, that's how I am at the moment. So let's dig into it, Joe. We are going to preview the Man United game. We're going to do that in a little bit, but I thought we'd do a little bit of chronological order. Let's talk about our final 2 pre-season games at the Emirates. We had Villareal on the Wednesday, 6:00. Weird time to do it because people are coming home from work, but it was an interesting game. And then we had Bilbao. The Villareal game, we lost 3-2. Interesting game, I would say, Joe. The lineup wasn't exactly what I was thinking, in that I thought when the Emirates Cup game started, we would start to see the settled, what I would call the first team, the one that we're going to play in the Premier League. But it was kind of a mishmash of the starting 11 and what I would call the second string. The squad players like the Norgards, those kind of players. And obviously the game was a bit of a back and forth, I thought. A bit too back and forth, I thought, in terms of we, as you expect, had most of the possession. But Villareal were very good on the break, and we looked very jumpy in defence. How did you view the Villareal game, Joe?
I think similar to how you've put it, mate. There was a lot of last season's failings still on show in that game, in that we had a lot of the ball, didn't create an awful lot. Villareal seemed to score with every shot they had. David Raya made a couple of good saves prior to their goals, but then obviously they got to still end up scoring. So no, there was a lot of, like I said, last season's failings were still on show, and I did find it strange that you'd start Saka, Martinelli, and Gyökeres, who are probably going to be your front 3. And then the 3 behind him in midfield were like the 3 who aren't going to play. I found that quite strange, but not sure if Havertz, if he was fit, if Havertz would have started that game and Gyökeres would have come on with Odegaard and Zubimendi, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I found that a bit strange. But yeah, it was it wasn't a very good game, was it? It wasn't very good to watch. Saw a few promising signs from sort of Gyökeres, but then we took him off when we bought on our creative players. So yeah, it was a bit, like you said, I think mishmash is a great way of putting it, because it was just a bit all over the place, really, wasn't it?
Again, a couple of things that were positives. As you said, Gyökeres had his first start. I mean, again, you're talking about a player who hasn't had a proper pre-season, as in the full pre-season. He's had, he's been, because of the deal and obviously he wasn't training with Sporting, this was his first game. And you could tell he wasn't match fit at all, was he? Really? He had a few touches, but looked a bit distant in the game. And I don't blame him, because again, new team, new system, new way of playing. I don't think we're expecting miracles. He had a few little moments, which I thought were, as usual, everyone was going, ooh, ah, but nothing to write home about, was it, at that point in that game? One player who did stand out, obviously, I thought, was Christian Norgard, actually. I thought he had a very good game. Defensively, intercepting and tackling well, but also got the goal on the set piece. What did you think of Norgard?
He looked quite good, didn't he? I thought he's, to be fair, whenever he's played in pre-season, I think he's looked quite good. Just very sort of, sounds stupid, but he's done everything you kind of expect him to do, being like a sort of proven Premier League player. Just kept the ball ticking very nicely. He was very busy in the midfield. Even sort of when we was away in playing 3 games abroad, breaking up play really well, just being in the right place at the right time. Like I said, scoring as well from a set piece. That's another bonus. So no, he's seeing how he performed in pre-season has made me feel a lot more confident about bringing him in for certain games, because he looked very comfortable in there, and I think he will be a massive addition. And like we said, if we've got Mikel has to put more emphasis on rotation this year and not running people into the ground, it's good to see that Norgard looked very comfortable in there. And with better players, he's only going to look, in a more settled team, he's only going to look better, isn't he?
So Norgard, I think, did really well. Obviously, we got to see a few more players. We got to see Noni Madueke come in. Again, he only started training this week, so I how are you going to judge him? Got a good reception from the Emirates crowd, which is good to see, given all the noise around his transfer. The one player again who electrified, and you can't say enough praise for him during the preseason, is Max Dowman, who won the penalty again. Just doing what Max Dowman does, isn't it?
Special, very special.
How many games do you think he will get this season? Just as a talking point. I mean, look, we're talking about a 15-year-old, 16-year-old in December, can't play Champions League until he turns 16. So maybe it depends on how the club register him, if he plays in the, the dead rubbers toward the end or in the latter stages. But how many starts and appearances do you think he'll make this season then, Joe? Realistically.
It's kind of thrown me, this question, because the way he was performing in pre-season, I would have had him in the squad for the start of the season for the Old Traffords and all them. I would have had him in there, but he's been sent away, isn't he?
Yeah, he needs a he played for the under 18s, didn't he, as well, for England?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long his break is going to be. I don't know then how long he's going to need to be training again before he gets sort of brought back into the squad. But I think, let's say, what are we doing? Just how many appearances do you think?
Let's go with appearances, not first team start. Just go with appearances.
Appearances, I think he could get 38 Premier League games, FA Cup runs, champion. He could get 15, 20 maybe.
Ooh, that's quite high, isn't it, for a 15-year-old?
Well, yeah, I think if we have a good run in the League Cup, I'd expect him to play in a lot of them. FA Cup early rounds, I'd expect him to play some of them.
Do you think he get Champions League? Did you get
Champions League dead rubber games towards when he can get in the squad? A couple of them, and then you're looking at maybe pushing double figures there straight away. So it's only another sort of 7, 8 Premier League appearances, which I think is quite feasible.
Okay, interesting. That's a lot of appearances. I think he's going to probably get about 10 or so. I think. it depends on his fitness. Again, it's like Ethan Wanyeri last year. Ethan started well, but obviously faded because he wasn't ready physically. It's going to be interesting to see how Max physically develops, because from the start of it, he looked, if you could knock over Joe Linton and shove him off the ball, shoulder him off the ball, you're not doing too bad. But he's like, you look at him, he's a slight guy. Doesn't look like bulky, doesn't he?
No,
but
like he's still got. He's a child, isn't he? Basically, he's still got growing up to do, and he's going to fill out. And the fact he's already showing that sort of physical sort of presence against men is very impressive and very excited, which is why I've probably got a little bit higher with my prediction, but we'll see.
Fair enough. It's your prediction. You're entitled to it. Obviously a nice moment depends on your stance on former players, but obviously Nicolas Pepe, who plays for Villareal, got a goal for Villareal, but didn't celebrate it, and then was posting Arsenal shirts the next day. I was a little bit in tears. Look, I don't think Pepe had the greatest time at Arsenal, but he seems to love the club, and I wish him well in his career, because that price tag really did affect him. I think it was too much for him, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah, and the thing is, just on a sort of side note of that, you look at what Man City paid for Grealish, and you compare his stats to. I know Grealish has sort of won trophies, but if you look at like an individual player stats, compare Grealish to Pepe, and look at the amount of grief that Pepe was given, and look at sort of the reception that Grealish gets. It's just the harsh sort of reality of football, isn't it? Really, that things like that happen. But no, I thought he looked quite lively against us. Looked like he might be quite a good backup option as a right winger. What do you think?
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, Joe. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's not something we can do again.
As understudy.
Yes, I don't think a return is on the cards for him. Then we played we played Athletic Bilbao on the weekend. Now, this game is the one that reeled me back in straight. The preseason tour had been a bit of as I said, a mishmash of different philosophies, different teams, etc. But this one, oh my God, did it reel me back in. The performance. We won 3-0. The team lineup was pretty much as close as I think it's going to be to the one that starts at United. And if I bring it up, we had Raya in goal, Timber, Calafiore, Saliba, Gabriel at the back, Martin Zubimendi and Declan Rice forming a pivot, which was, I think, very good to see, because I think that's the best way to use them. Ødegaard slightly forward in that role that he's used to. Martinelli, Saka, and Victor Gyökeres up front. Joe, did you like that team lineup when you saw it?
Much more like it, wasn't it? I said on the last pod we done that from these Emirates games, I wanted to see the team that was going to likely face Man United. And I think against Bilbao, that's what we saw. We saw pretty much, I think that'll be the 11 we go with. And like you said, mate, it's really, really promising. There looked to be real purpose in our play, looked to be much more direct than last season. The speed at which we was getting the ball forward, which was something I was crying out for. I'm sure a lot of the fans were. Just seemed to be a lot more intent, a lot more sort of drive to get the ball forwards quickly, to try and sort of catch teams out, not let them get back into a shape. So it's good, mate. And you touched on there, the double pivot in midfield with Zubimendi and Rice playing next to each other. I really like the look of that. I think that allowed Ødegaard a bit more space to operate in the number sort of 10 role, which is great, because then he can float over towards Martinelli and maybe give him a bit of a hand as well. And I like that they interchanged, so it makes it harder for the opposition to know what we're going to do.
Who's the deeper? Who's playing that? They both did it really well, didn't they? They rotated. Yeah. Who had the deeper role?
Yeah, both were capable of picking up the ball deep. Both were capable of creating chances a little bit higher up the pitch. So to have both of them able to do both roles just makes us again a little bit unpredictable.
Which is what we need. That midfield was a little bit too predictable last year with Thomas Partey and Declan Rice. I want to touch upon a few talking points in this game, because it was a positive result, as we said. Calafiore or Miles Lewis-Skelly for the first game, because I thought Calafiore in the first half really did look very good in terms of his forward play, his defensive work. He's not the fastest tracking back, but my word, going forward, he's so smooth on the ball. He can overlap, he can underlap, he can, for me, he does it all. he's a unicorn player. I've always said that. It's just his injuries that hold him back, isn't it, Joe? I loved his first half performance against Bilbao.
I'd be tempted to start him against United, to be honest, Yeamin, because if we're going for the sort of the more direct, quicker play, get the ball forwards sort of approach that we've seen in pre-season, then I'd argue that Calafiori is probably a better fit for that than Lewis Skelly. Obviously, massive fan of Lewis Skelly. It's not a slight on him at all, but he likes to sort of hold on to the ball and draw sort of players in and beat them, and he plays in a slightly different way. Where he might, don't get me wrong, there'll be games this season where he starts, and there'll be games where Calafiori will be a better fit, and that's what we need as a team. So yeah, I think I'd go Calafiori, and then if we're in a position where we're ahead in the game, bring in Lewis Skelly on, who can.
It's not bad. It's not a bad option to have, is it?
I mean, this is what we've been crying out for, is having options and that little bit of unpredictability. Where teams aren't going to be sure what we're going to do, and that's what we need, because, like we keep saying, just predictable last year, wasn't it? Towards the end,
and the bench looks more stacked. You don't have 4 left backs on the thing. Although we're talking about left backs here, but it's not just 4 left backs. It's a range of players who can affect the game. We just talked about Declan Rice, Martin Zubimendi. I want to touch upon Martin Zubimendi because I thought through the preseason he has been the player. Dowman's been outstanding as well, but Martin Zubimendi, every time I've seen him, I've just been like, wow, he looks every bit the £60 million player plus. Every time I've seen him, he just, you touched upon it in our last podcast, the way he punches the ball in. He's very forward thinking. I just love the way he's settling into this team. What do you think, Joe? Especially in this Bilbao game, I thought he was immense.
Yeah, he was fantastic, wasn't he? He is everything that I think we were crying out for in a midfield player.
Is he close to Rodri? How would you term him? Look, Rodri is acknowledged. Him and Declan Rice. Rodri and Declan Rice are acknowledged as the 2 best. And Rodri, obviously, Zubimendi plays as the understudy to Rodri in the Spanish team. How close is he to our version of that? Or is he something completely different, in your opinion?
I think the thing that Rodri has on his side is the physical frame that Rodri has. He's obviously a lot more, if you're just looking at them from a physical perspective, Rodri is a lot more suited to a Premier League sort of combative game, if you like, than Zubimendi is. But I think the way they play, very similar. I mean, if Zubimendi has the same effect for us that Rodri does for Man City, then I think we could well be lifting the Premier League title come May. So no, mate, it's just very exciting. I think there was a bit, people or some fans were a bit worried, I think, when Partey left, because he was quite a big part of our midfield and sort of keeping the play moving and dictating what he was going to do with those sort of through the lines passes that he can do. But Zubimendi's come in and has just looked absolutely outstanding at that. Not only that, he's not the biggest, but he knows where to position himself on the pitch. I don't think you'll see him get involved in many sort of shoulder to shoulder and physical battles and that, but I think you'll just see him putting himself in position where he just nips things out of the pocket, and people will be looking around and he's already going up the other way.
But he still doesn't mind. He doesn't mind a bit of a argy-bargy, does he? He doesn't mind it. He doesn't look like it.
No, he won't shy away from it, but I just think he's more intelligent than that. I think his game is more about seeing the game develop and putting himself into a position where he doesn't need to go shoulder to shoulder, because he's already going to nick the ball before you get there or before the pass is complete.
His timing, his interceptions are very good.
Yes, that's what looked really promising, I think, in the pre-season games.
And then let's talk about the big man up top, Victor Gyökeres. I thought had a much better game. Got the opening goal with a really good header, a real striker's header in the box, across the goalkeeper. I loved it. The ball in from Zubimendi, as we were just talking about. But it was a real striker's goal and a much more of a sniff of goal, and he took it. Had moments in the game he should have scored before that, but he kind of daisy-cutted his shot. I think he looked a lot better. He looked more at it. I mean, obviously he's gaining fitness, and that's a good sign that as he gets fitter, he'll be able to do more. But I thought he looked a lot better in this game and came off to a deserved ovation at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was brilliant. And do you know what, I think that he didn't score, but I was more impressed with the header that hit the post. than the actual goal.
That was a really nice one. It was a real oomph. It gave it a bit of oomph on it, didn't it?
Madueke, it was a decent cross.
Yeah.
But he generated all that power himself, sort of diving sort of away from goal and directing that at goal. It was just brilliant, mate. It was a really, really good header. And little things like that is what we've been missing. The goal was outstanding, really good header. This is apparently a man who can't head the ball. Apparently.
Yeah, that apparently can't head the ball, but had 2 chances on goal with his head and scored with one of them.
Yeah, it's a shame he didn't slap in that chance you said where he sort of miss hit and it rolled to the keeper.
But he was there at least. Do you know what? He's there at least, and he's making the run, and he's making the runs, which is a channel run, amazing, an actual channel run, which is.
And it looked like the rest of the team was starting to work out how Gyökeres plays, whereas in the Villareal game, it looked a bit strangers on the pitch. Whereas in the Bilbao game, I know it was sort of a few different personnel, but I think you started to see some of them relationships forming and familiarity, with sort of movement and sort of the patterns of play that we want to do and how Gyökeres will fit into them. And it all just seemed to start knitting together quite nicely.
Do you know who I thought had a good game? And I know he's been slated through the pre-season is Martinelli. I actually thought he had a very good game actually in this one, where I thought he actually looked better when the space was created by Gyökeres, either towards the left or instead. He had much more of an impact, with a bit more space in behind. Because we've talked about it on multiple occasions. Martinelli is not a touchline winger. He's an inside forward who needs to be in the box. But I thought he had a lot better game. What did you think, Joe, in terms of Martinelli? Because obviously he's had a hard time through pre-season.
Yeah, I mean, I still want to see more from him, Yem. It was promising, but there's been a lot of these kind of performances from Martinelli where he gives you a little something where he sort of does a few good runs, looks lively, has a few shots. You think, okay, there's something to work with. But then, like for the next few games, he'll just sort of go back to running down dead end channels and holding the ball too long and all them sort of things. But I love Martinelli. Don't get me wrong, and I want him to be the Martinelli that we saw a few years ago, where he was just lighting the place up. And hopefully, with Gyökeres and the quicker football, we'll see that. But I'll be honest, Jem, I am a little bit worried for Martinelli and Trossard this year, because I think a lot of people feel that we need a new left winger. And I think that them two are going to be under heavy scrutiny, if you like, going forwards, because I just think that they're going to be scapegoated. I think that's the problem. I think they're going to be scapegoated quite easily. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, hopefully not. But I just think there'll be 2 easy players to pick on if things aren't going well.
Yeah, I mean, again, the fan base seems to be very quick to jump on any player who has any issues, don't they? A few more points. Noni Madueke made his second appearance in the game. I thought had a very good game, actually. I thought he was, there was one run in particular where he was giving and going and made a slalom run into the box. And I thought that was very impressive. And I think, obviously, given that he's only had this week to train, I think did pretty well. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, promising. Again, just nice to see a player on the left wing beating people on the outside and putting in a cross with your left foot. Like, it's really weird to see that as someone in an Arsenal shirt.
I know.
It's on the left with your left foot.
Yeah.
So that was nice to see. Like you said, that little bit of link-up play where he kind of interchanged with a few players, a bit of one-touch stuff. Reminded me a bit, going back here again, reminded me a bit of, was it Thomas Rositzky who scored that goal against Sunderland, where that was that sort of nice interplay, Wilshere and Giroud, and went for it, and it reminded me of that. So bring that on. I'm all for that sort of quick football, because we didn't see a lot of that last year. And unfortunately, I don't think Martinelli is capable of that.
No,
Trossard maybe, but he hasn't got the pace to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's exciting to see, again, just a bit of variety. And once Madueke's fit and obviously sort of used to the team and regular sort of minutes again, could be a really exciting option for us.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's got a lot to give, actually, and I think he's going to actually be a very good asset.
I wonder if it all, as well, yeah, with all the noise that came with the signing, obviously it all went a bit overboard for various reasons. But I wonder if he's the sort of character that'll spur him on, and he'll kind of.
He seems like that.
Yeah,
it seems like that. It seems like he's had adversity through most of the, most of the time he's been playing. He went out to to Holland to play when he couldn't get time here. I think adversity is not something new to Noni Madueke, but this is a new level. You're talking about a player who, let's be honest, a lot of the fan base were not keen on.
No.
Now he's going to try and prove them wrong. I hope he does it. Let's be honest. Anyone who tries to prove us wrong is always welcome. There's a certain player, obviously, who feels that he doesn't need to prove anyone wrong. We'll talk about him later on. One player I did want to touch on because it's a bit of fun here. Nico Williams, who we had been courting through many years, and Barcelona had been courting as well. Apparently, nearly close to signing with Barcelona, but then signed a 10-year deal with Athletic Bilbao, supposedly on really huge wages. How was his performance, Joe? How did did he really electrify?
Did he even play? Is how I would summarise his performance. I did not see him do a thing. So, I mean, it's just funny, isn't it? You've got Arsenal fans clamouring for this wonder kid, Spanish sensation, Nico Williams. He'll take us to the next level. He'll change it all. And then you watch him play and you think, a lot of the fans, it just proves the point. We really don't know what we're talking about half the time. This is why people like Andrea Berta and Mikel Arteta are managing Arsenal, sporting director, negotiating deals, and why the rest of us sit at home playing FIFA and Football Manager.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that.
It is it's as simple as that. But again, it was a great way to end pre-season, got everyone on a high, but now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of it. The Premier League is back. This Friday, it all starts with the champions, Liverpool. And then obviously we play on Sunday. Old Trafford. What a way to start the season, Joe, isn't it? I mean, the Premier League computer. Yeah.
In the sun, Sunday afternoon. All our rivals have already played their game. So as usual, we're playing catch up on the fixtures.
And you can imagine after the first week, it's all over. It's all over.
It'll be that sensational, no one sensationalises like Arsenal fans today. So,
we'll talk about sensationalism in terms of where we're at afterwards, because obviously Tottenham played last night, and that was an interesting game as well. So, our mood is ever higher at the moment.
Yes.
So, but the Man United game, not the ideal fixtures to open the season with, but we are where we are. Start with our opponents, Man United. Where are they, Joe? Because they've made some very good signings. Let's not argue with it. In the front line, they have really overhauled it with the signings of Brian Mbeumo, Mateus Cunha from Wolves and from Brentford, and then the big one, obviously, which is Benjamin Sesko, who was very heavily linked with Arsenal. We did try to get him, but obviously the stars didn't align, and he's joined Man United, obviously after a bit of tug of war, as we talked in the last episode, with Newcastle. But they haven't really done anything else other than that, Joseph, have they? They haven't worked on any other part of the team. They seem to have been focusing on the front line. How do you assess where are Man United at the moment? And bear in mind, there is still a couple of weeks to go in the transfer window, so that things can change. I know they're looking at Carlos Baleba, obviously. But where are Man United in the context of they were 16th last season? Was it 16th or 17th last season? I can't remember. It's between them and Spurs.
Yeah, it's between them and Spurs. When it's the worst Europa League final.
Worse and worse. Who was it? But they should, in theory, Joe, be better than last season, shouldn't they? Anarim's had a year to. He's had a pre-season as well.
Well, if they're any worse, they're getting relegated, aren't they?
Hey, I'd be there for that one.
Yeah, wouldn't we all? But no, I think they've made some good attacking signings. I think Cunha, good player, and Mbeumo, obviously, both Premier League proven. I think the two of them will win the top 5 for maybe chances.
Yeah, chance created, isn't it?
Chance created. So, I mean, that's really positive for them. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes behind. We know what he's capable of. Brilliant player. So, yeah, and obviously, Sesko is written in the stars, unfortunately, that he is probably more than likely going to score against us. We just need to hope that we score a few more than them. But, no, I think their pre-season, I think they won a couple and drew the rest, maybe.
I still see some errors coming in, especially in that midfield, because the midfield hasn't really been overhauled. They've got, Ugarte, who is very much a defensive midfielder. He doesn't do well with passing the ball and can't move it very well. Then you've got Casemiro, who was a phenomenal player, but he's 33, and as expected with a 33-year-old, his legs have gone pretty much. And you've got Bruno Fernandes, who is a great player, but he's an attacking player. He's not a defensive player, really. So I still think their midfield looks gettable in terms of, I think for us, our midfield on balance is much better. For me personally, what do you think, Joe?
If you look at, I think if you used to look at the two teams, I don't think you'd swap off the top of my head. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think there's a Man United player you'd swap into the Arsenal starting 11 if you used to have both fully fit 11s. I don't think there's anyone. Well, there's no. I mean, that's mad considering it's Man United, who for years you'd take at least 4 or 5 of their starting 11, wouldn't you? But recently they've obviously dropped off quite substantially from where we used to seeing them. But no, it's Man United on the first game of the season at Old Trafford, so it's still going to be a very difficult game. We traditionally, for as long as I've been alive anyway, have not ever done well at Old Trafford, really. I think we've won maybe 2 or 3 games in about.
There's also the FK curse is in full effect as well, because he's going this week. He's going this weekend.
For those who don't know, our dear friend F Carnage, Latte Firm, loves to go to Old Trafford just to make sure we don't win. Basically, that's all he's good for.
His record is horrendous. I think we drew last year, and I did go to the game as well with him in that one. But the year before was the first win at Old Trafford, 1-0, and he went absolutely nuts about that. But
still remember you guys phoning me on the way back from the 8-2 loss as well that I couldn't attend.
Oh my God.
Really unfortunate that weekend. I happened to be busy and I couldn't go with you. But we don't play well at Old Trafford yet. We haven't played well.
Why is that, Joe? Why is that, Joe?
Genuinely, I have no idea, because for years I'd argue that we've had better teams than Man United when we've been there. We've been in better form when we've been there. Believe it or not, I think there's probably been a few times where they've had bigger injury crises than we've had going up there.
Yeah.
And we just don't ever play well yet. I don't know what it is, but we just don't ever do well at Old Trafford. So sometime that's got to come to an end, and hopefully it will be this Sunday, and we'll put on a bit of a show, and the midfield will dominate, and as it should on paper anyway. And we can get 3 points to kick us off and send us flying into the new season.
So let's go into the nuts and bolts of this game then. The starting lineups. Who are you going to go for? So let's talk about our goalkeeper, David Raya. Do we agree?
Yeah, I think Raya starts. I think I'd be tempted, after seeing Ben White in pre-season, to go Ben White at right back.
Who's Timber. Do you know what, though? The thing is that with Mateus Cunha on the left, you assume, Timber is the best one-on-one defender in the league. It's just, do you?
It is, but I'm wanting to go at Man United. Yeah, I am.
You can't go. You can't go at Man United because it's Old Trafford, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, but is this where we've gone wrong previously? Have we kind of gone, oh, it's Old Trafford, we need to be a bit careful? Whereas I'm thinking, do you know what? Let's not be careful. If we need to go and win 5-4, 6-5, let's go and do that. Let's not try and sort of control the ball too much. Let's not try and do that kind of football. Let's go do something a bit different. Let's just go up there and try and smash them. You score 2, we'll score 3. Let's hope. I wouldn't mind that approach to the game, to be honest. I know it's a bit crazy, but opening weekend of the Barclays.
I can't see Arteta doing that. Arteta is not that kind of manager. Which manager do you think this is? No,
I'm just excited, yeah. That's it. I'm just excited.
I know you are, Joe. 2 centre backs, I think, to speak for themselves, it's Gabriel Saliba, isn't it? It can't be anything else but, can it?
Yeah, I suppose the only mitigating thing would be what's Gabriel's fitness like.
He looked good at the
yeah, if he's fit and ready to go, then yeah, start him. Otherwise, it wouldn't be. I don't think it'd be the end of the world if Calafiori had to start.
No,
Gabriel.
Would you take Calafiori over Kivior? Just say that Gabriel wasn't available. Would you do Calafiori over Kivior?
Yeah, I think so. I think Calafiori's played more minutes than Kivior in pre-season.
Yeah, he looked better.
He's looked better, more comfortable on the ball, and looked like he can. Don't get me wrong, Kivior done well last year, but I think Calafiori offers more on the ball.
I am looking forward to seeing, Sesko versus Gabriel. That's a big physical challenge, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, as well. I feel like Gabriel pays a lot of attention as well to the noise outside, what goes on social media and all that sort of stuff.
He loves it, absolutely loves it.
I'm looking forward to seeing him dump Sesko over the hoardings into the first row of the seat in Old Trafford.
Welcome, like Mark, the old Martin Keown welcome on the pitch.
Welcome to the Premier League.
Welcome to the Premier League. Welcome to the game. I'm Gabriel. Nice to meet you. Left back. Obviously, we talked about Calafiori may play left centre back if Gabriel's out, but I think Calafiori should start at left back for this game. Who do you think is going to start?
Yeah, I'd agree, mate. I think, like we said, if he's not needed at left centre back and Gabriel's ready to go, then I think Calafiori starts left back, just given how we've been approaching the game in the last pre-season games.
Okay. Midfield pivot has to be Zubimendi Rice, doesn't it? It can't be anyone else but that.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, I think you go Zubimendi, Rice, Odegaard.
Yeah,
that Bilbao midfield. It looked really good, so why break it up?
Yeah, it's settled. It's ready to go. Right, then, the two wingers. This is where it's going to start. So, obviously, Bukayo Saka will start on the right wing. That's not in doubt, is it, really? I think.
No, he starts, doesn't he?
Yeah. Left wing. Madueke or Martinelli? Who do you start? Who plays on the right for United? He'll play the black three. He'll play a back three, won't he?
Yeah. Is it Dorgu?
No, Dorgu's left back. Dorgu's the left back, so he'll go up against Saka. Right will be Amad Diallo, won't it?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. It's a hard one, I think, because I think Martinelli's probably the fitter of the two. But I wouldn't be against seeing Madueke start, just to offer something a little bit different.
I'm with you, Joe. Do you know the reason why? Madueke is different on the left. It's easy to predict what Martinelli will do. But Madueke against Amad Diallo. Diallo can go pace for pace with Martinelli. There's no doubt of that. But Madueke is someone who likes to drop deep, come inside, cut inside, move outside. And I think you need something a little bit different to throw the game plan off to say, look, we're not going to be the standard team that you know, Anarim. We are going to be different. And Madueke is that kind of player to me at the moment. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, either way, I think if Martinelli starts and you bring Madueke on for half an hour to sort of change it up, brilliant. I think if Madueke starts and you bring Martinelli on late in the game with his fresh legs, that could be, I think, either or positive for me. I'm ruling out a Trossard appearance. I don't know about you. What do you think?
He'll be on the bench, but again, the rumours swirling around Trossard are ever mounting. It's either teams in Turkey or Aston Villa. So it feels like he's on the move. We'll know more if he's in this squad. Then
haven't they just sold Jacob Ramsey to Newcastle as well?
Yeah, PSR. They've PSR, and he's pure PS. He's pure profit, isn't he? Because he's a youth player.
Yeah, so they might be looking at Trossard, but yeah, I think Trossard's obviously come good in big games, but I think I'm ruling him out from. Unless something goes terribly
as a starting player, I would definitely.
I think I've ruled him out for appearing, even playing. Mate.
Do you think that's it? Do you think that's it?
I'd rather see Madueke or Martinelli sort of that rotation rather than a Trossard. I know he can get us a goal and whatnot, but I think we still need to start, like we said, moving away from what we did last year and changing things up. And the way you change things up is different players with different approaches. And Madueke will offer us that from the start or off the bench.
Interesting. So then the big question up front, who do you go with, Gyökeres or Havertz?
I think it's got to be Gyökeres, isn't it?
I would go with Gyökeres. I just think that I love Havertz. Havertz is a great player, but you've got to go with this because you want to destabilise that defence, don't you? It's a three-man defence. It's easy to predict where Havertz will go. He'll drop deep, so it makes it easy for a three-man defence to stack themselves in the box. But if you occupy them with Gyökeres, it just gives Saka, Martinelli, or Madueke that chance to be affected across the wing. Because with the wing backs are going to push forward. They're not defensively minded necessarily.
And again, I think with Gyökeres starting, scoring, hitting the post in the last game, I think you've got to keep on that wave. I think if you take him out, I think you kind of lose a bit of the impetus. Yeah. So I think keep him in the team, keep him starting. And again, Havertz off the bench, he looked really good.
It's not a bad option.
It's another good option, isn't it? It's another good player to bring on.
This is
combative, can press. He's quick. So, yeah, I mean, I think my starting front three. I don't think it will be this. Don't get me wrong, but my personal preference would be Madueke, Gyökeres, Saka.
That would be my preference as well. But again, I think Martinelli will start personally.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
but that's not a bad thing necessarily. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But it's very interesting. I think that's going to be the team to go with. I'm looking for a big performance. Who are you looking for as having big performances game? Who are going to be the main men, Joseph? I'm looking at Gabriel against Sesko, Zubimendi and Rice. I then want Saka, obviously, and Gyökeres. Ødegaard for me is a little bit on the fringe. I am not sure what season Ødegaard's going to have. Maybe he will have a good season, but is he going to be the main man?
It'd be good for him to put down a marker, wouldn't it, in the first game? Because there's been accusations that he doesn't turn up in the big games.
Yeah.
So it'd be good for him as a marker to go to Old Trafford and really have a good performance. I'd like that for him. But I think a massive thing for us is going to be first of all, what we do, how we play. Are we going to continue with what we've seen in pre-season, or are we going to kind of revert back to type and do what we done last year and go away and try and control the ball, have a lot of sort of possession, kind of dominate the game that way? That'll be interesting to see. And I think how we deal with Bruno Fernandes, he obviously makes Man United tick. And I think how we deal with him will go a long way in deciding what sort of game plays out, I think.
So then, Joe, let's go for it. Give me your prediction.
So my logical brain, says that this will be a Manchester United win and a Sesko goal.
Oh, for God's sakes, Joe.
My heart, which rules all, is saying Arsenal 3, Man United 1.
Joseph, get that head sorted of yours. We're starting
the season positive. I could quite easily go with my pessimistic years of going to Old Trafford and seeing us do terribly, but no, it's a new year. It's a new season, new players. We're going to go there, We're going to win 3-1. Sesko will score, but Gyökeres will score as well.
Okay.
And we will win the game 3-1. And, Gabriel Heinz will get sent off.
That is going to happen this season.
He's going to headbutt Ruben Amorim when we go 2-1 up, and he's going to be shown a straight red.
I'm going to go with a 2-1. I think we'll win. I think Sesko will score again. It's just written in the stars, isn't it? It just feels like it's too much of a sod's law thing that they always do it against us.
Yeah.
But I think Gyökeres will score. I also think Saka will score because I think Saka is going to have if he can stay injury free, will have a good season as well because I think he's just too good a player. I think Gyökeres will help occupy players who would have doubled up on Saka. So a big start for Arsenal and Man United. Let's look at the Premier League in general, Joe. It's going to be an interesting season, isn't it? I mean, the top teams have all improved. You've got Liverpool who have bought heavily, Wirtz, 100+ million. You've got them buying as well. They're trying to buy Alexander Isak, which is turning very poisonous at the moment. We'll talk about that in a minute. Then you've got, obviously, Chelsea, who, as usual, have bought pretty much every player they can find. Man City, who will always be there. They've bought very well, although there's some injury concerns over Rodri, so how they will start be interesting. And then you've got Newcastle, who have really struggled to buy anyone of note and are still struggling, but they have bought Jacob Ramsey, Thiaw from AC Milan. So there's a few, it's starting to build up for them. How do you see the Premier League? Let's talk about the European places. Who are going to occupy, who's going to win the Premier League, in your opinion, Joe? Start at the top.
The Arsenal.
The Arsenal. It's the only answer you can give. That's it. Realistically, who do we think?
I think if Liverpool do get Isak, they are massive favourites for the title, just because they are the champions and they have bought some very, very strong attacking reinforcements.
But Joe, you watched the Community Shield, didn't you? And I thought that for all the attacking intent, their defence and their midfield looked a bit shaky. Especially when it came down to substitutions. I mean, they'll score a bucket load, but they'll concede a bucket load as well, won't they?
Well, you say that, Yem, but I mean, Virgil van Dijk, he's unbelievable, isn't he?
But one Virgil van Dijk injury, and then you're stuck, aren't you? They're trying to buy Mark Gahey.
Aging. I know him and Salah are both, we're hoping, on the other side of the hill now, and we'll see a bit of a decline in them. But all we've got to go on really is previous years, and they are both just exceptional players. Who Van Dijk pretty much carries that defence on his own. They have had a couple of new. Obviously, they've got 2 new wing backs, 2 new fullbacks, depending on how they play.
Very attacking,
which is obviously going to take the teams from getting used to. If you move 2 players out of your back 4, it's obviously going to change it up quite heavily. So, yeah, I still think they're the top dogs. I still think they're the favourites.
Okay, fair enough.
Like I said, especially if they get Isaac on top of what they've already got, then they'll be very strong favourites. Because I'm not being funny. In my opinion, if you win the league, you're kind of automatically the favourite because going on history, you are the champions. So
you start from a position of strength, don't you already?
Exactly, yeah.
I won't go. Obviously, we've talked about us, at length. Chelsea won the Club World Cup. Have added, numerous players as per usual. Esteval, Liam Delap, Yao Pedro. Who knows who else they're going to add? Again, you never can tell with Chelsea in the last couple of days of the window because Chelsea have done it before. Where are Chelsea now? They're obviously on a high from the Club World Cup, but we saw it yesterday with PSG that there is some fatigue setting in around the Club World Cup and late pre-season start. So where are Chelsea this season, do you think, Joe?
I think they'll be in the top 4. I think they'll get 4th, I think it'll be Arsenal, Liverpool, City, and then Chelsea, I think, will get that top 4 spot. Because I think they're just, at some point, when you've got that many players, that many good players, at some point it's going to tick, isn't it? Because you can't, you've got so many options.
They keep changing it though, don't they? They've got Gittins.
They do, but all I would say is have they got a bit of stability in Maresca? I mean, usually their managers are gone within 15 minutes and he's now been there for about half an hour. So I don't know. I think Chelsea could have a good season. I think they was sort of a bit hit and miss last year. They've kept the same manager, which is a bit of a strange thing for them. Obviously, coming off the high of winning the Club World Cup. I think a lot of clubs would suffer with fatigue, but I think they've got such a big squad. They could maybe cover that better than other teams could.
It depends on how their Champions League placing, doesn't it? Really, because because they had the conference. They had the Conference League last year, and that enabled them to play the youth players. You can't do that in the Champions League.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing is that if you look at that kind of team, I think they've just got options. We talk about being unpredictable. I think Chelsea are probably the most unpredictable. Just they've got so many different players they can play, and I think in terms of the fatigue, I think at the start of the season, the fact they won the Club World Cup might work in their favour. They have a bit of a bounce. But I think you could see them fatigue in a couple of months rather than being fatigued in the first few games. So I think when
the Champions League starts in earnest, playing Tuesday or Wednesday and then Saturday, Saturday, and it keeps cumulatively, doesn't it? Everyone gets tired, and they're going to probably be more tired than most, given that.
I think their fatigue might kick in later.
Okay, and then Man City as well played the Club World Cup, didn't go to the finals, obviously. Bought some very good players, obviously, in Ryan Cherky. Who else have they bought? They bought Tijani Reinders, who I absolutely love. I think he's a top quality player.
Yeah, he looks pretty
good. Ryan Aït-Nouri from Wolves, left back, who's absolutely crazy, but he's a very good player as well. Where are Man City? Are they still the force that they were? Because obviously they were at one point, undefeatable, weren't they? I think the armour has come off that one, but they're still a very good team.
Still Man City, aren't they? Still got hundreds of millions of pounds worth of good player there. By the sounds of it, they're not done in the transfer market either.
Yeah.
Or a sort of thing they've been sort of having secret talks with Vinny Jr. maybe.
It's going to be something.
Well.
It feels like there's someone big coming, but they're looking at Donnarumma as well, aren't they? Because Donnarumma's place at PSG is under threat.
Yeah, unbelievable stopping to get him. So Man City, they'll be up there. They'll be there or thereabouts. Be interesting to see how Guardiola gets on, because obviously he's always been in teams that have spent loads of money, have been.
He can't do anything else. He doesn't know anything else, does he? He doesn't know.
Well, which is the question, isn't it? He's always had the best teams, the best players, and he spells and then moved on. So at Barcelona, he had a few years and then left. At Bayern, he did the same. At City, he did the sort of the 4 back-to-backs, didn't he? The titles, and then now he's kind of. I wouldn't say it's a rebuild he's done, but he's had to sort of change over quite a bit of the squad. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on, because I feel like this is maybe the first time he's had to do that.
But also as well, he's
others might say differently, but
he's also acknowledged that he is going to leave pretty soon, isn't he? It's you know, he was slated to go this year, wasn't he? But he signed a new deal for a year extra. I think you know, again, how much of his focus is going to be on I want to win, or is tiredness a factor now because he's been doing it for a long time at City? It's not exactly.
Maybe, but I think as well he's got such a good history there. I don't think he'd want to tarnish that. So I think he'll want to leave the club in a stronger position than obviously where they ended up last year. So I think they'll be motivated. It's Man City. They'll want to get back to the top.
And then from the top 4 last year, Newcastle made it into 4th just about. Where are Newcastle? Because it's been a bit of a struggle in the pre-season for them. They've obviously got the Alexander Isak scenario where he's pretty much refused to play. He said, I'm not going to be playing at all. I want to move. It's getting very poisonous. They haven't bought a striker. They're struggling to buy someone. They wanted Benjamin Sesko. He's gone to United. Anyone they've tried to get, they can't. They're looking at Johan Visser, but that's still not there yet. They've bought Anthony Elanga. They bought Jacob Ramsey. They bought Malik Thiaw. They've got Alan Ramsdale. Where are Newcastle for you at the moment, Joseph?
Hard to say, isn't it? Because they've bought a few players, but have those players improved them? And what effect is this whole Isak saga having on that squad? Every post-match interview, every pre-match interview, every time any player or the manager is in front of the camera, they're going to be asked about this situation. And we being Arsenal fans have some familiarity with sagas with the likes of Fabregas, with the likes of Van Persie, and it has an effect. So it could be a difficult start to the season. I'm not sure what their opening fixtures are, but all is not well in Newcastle currently.
They have to sell him, don't they? Realistically.
Yeah, I kind of respect the stance they've taken. They've gone, no, you've got 3 years left. We're going to sell you on our terms. Fair play to, because obviously player power has become so prominent now. It's nice to see a club trying to wrestle some of that back, but equally, it does feel like eventually the player gets their way, because ultimately the club are going to suffer. The only thing they might have in their favour is obviously it being a World Cup year. Is Alexander Isak is not going to want to miss out on playing in the World Cup. So if they lay down the rule of you aren't going anywhere, you either play here or sit in the reserves and lose your place in the World Cup squad come the end of the year, then that might work in their favour. But ultimately, I think by the end of the window, you will be seeing him in a Liverpool shirt. I think it the fact that Newcastle are looking for a centre forward, I think it points to the fact that there's
very little in the market. There's a very little in the market, isn't there? There's Samu from Porto. There's maybe Watkins. It's a very dead market now, isn't it?
I still find the whole timing thing really weird. Yeah, why I don't understand why Isak waited. You knew Arsenal wanted him. Arsenal were desperate for a centre forward. You knew Liverpool wanted a centre forward, and he waited until they'd both splashed. That just
because he only wanted Liverpool.
I still just find it a really strange.
I don't know. I think
why not do that from the outset? If you'd done that at the start of the window, you'd have got your move and it'll be done by now. But just really odd.
I honestly don't know, because Ekatike started very well in a Liverpool.
Yeah, he looked good, didn't he? To be fair, did look good.
Good. Would he be happy being second choice if Isak came in? I don't think he would do, would he? That's an expensive bench, isn't it? To have, you've got
you spent a lot of money there, so.
It's interesting to see how that will unfold. But where do you see Newcastle finishing then? In the Champions League place or outside of it?
I think they'll probably, depending how they cope with that Champions League sort of and their fixtures either side of them games, I think they'll be up there again. I think they'll I'm going to go. I think they'll be around, Champions League, Europa League spots. I think they'll be within that sort of mix.
I think they'll be sixth. I think it just feels like a sixth
Yeah.
place to me. Aston Villa. Villa, again, are one of these clubs who haven't really, I don't think, done enough in this window to...
To be honest, mate, I couldn't tell you what anything Villa have done. I've got no idea if they've bought anyone, if they've sold.
They've bought one player. Let me just see. They've bought Guesson from Nice. Obviously,
and I have absolutely no idea who that is, Yeamin.
So here we go. All right. Oh, well, they've got actually... So here we go. So they've signed Yassine Özcan for 7 million. They've signed Marco Bizot from Stade Brest and Guesson from OG Nice for 30 million. So it's not been that great a window, if you be honest. And obviously they've lost Jacob Ramsey just now, who was one of their main players. He's a very good, very, very good player.
And rather than who they're losing, their manager is still Unai Emery.
He's a very good manager, isn't he?
He's a good manager, but the Unai effect will come into...
Yeah, Unai will Unai, won't he? He can't help himself.
Unai will Unai, and I think they'll be around sort of them kind of the top out. I think you've got Newcastle, you've got Villa. I think Spurs will be...
Right, okay, let's bring up the Spurs question. Let's bring up the Spurs question, because Spurs being Spurs, it was very Spursy last night, wasn't it?
It's just such... It's so nice to have constants in your life, isn't it?
Yes, it is, isn't it?
So nice that in an ever-changing world, you can always rely on Spurs to be the ever consistent, ever Spursy team.
But Spurs, in a nutshell, was just this transfer and this game, because obviously they had the first "Here we go" that was taken back, wasn't it? If you use Fabrizio Romano's, where they looked to have got Morgan Gibbs-White, it'd all been signed. Here we go, all done. And then it didn't happen. It's the first time.
Put his family in a hotel somewhere and threatened to kill them all if he didn't sign a contract.
Yes, there's some questionable concerns about that video that Morgan Gibbs-White shot. It's like, help me, please. Help me, please. But last night, obviously, they played the European Super Cup against Paris Saint-Germain. And let me remind you of Paris Saint-Germain, who literally had a week of pre-season, because obviously they'd been involved in the Club World Cup in the final, and so they weren't at full fitness. Spurs went 2-0 up, thought it was the happy days and all that, and then come the 80th minute, Kang In Lee gets the first goal, then Gonzalo Ramos gets the second, and it's 2-2. PSG win the penalty shootout. The world all is normal in the world, isn't it? It's
normality is restored.
I think Thomas Frank is a very good acquisition for them as a manager. You can't lie about that. That's a very good managerial appointment. He's going to make them more defensively solid. We've seen that already in the pre-seasons, even against us. I just think there's not enough about them. And also they've lost James Maddison, so they're looking at a creativity issue there. Where do you see Spurs finishing? Are they going to be in the European places, Joe?
I think they will. I don't want to give too much time to them. Get your beat machine ready to them lock down the road, but they'll be better this year. Again, like Man United, they can't be any worse. Thomas Frank's a very good manager, and they'll be higher than they were last year. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But yeah, let's move away from them, please.
Okay, let's then look at the bottom half of the table. So the teams that have come up. Sunderland, Leeds. Who's the last one?
Burnley.
Are they going back down straight away?
Unfortunately, mate, I think they will. I think
all
the gap.
Them.
I think so, mate. Look at the last few years. I think the gap between Championship and Premier League is so big now.
Yeah.
I just think that the Championship teams are really struggling to get a foothold in the division.
Even Sunderland spent 150 million in the window.
You've got no choice, Yem. That's what they're going to have to do if they want to even sort of get close to staying up. Because if you come up and try and do it with the team that you got up with, which in previous years has worked, you get nowhere near it. I mean, you've got to go big. And then the risk is, obviously, if you go back down again, you've outlaid a load of money, but teams have got to try and make it work. Sunderland are a big club. Leeds are a big club, so they can have a go.
But Leeds, I don't think have got enough about them in terms of.
I think ultimately, mate, I think all three will go back down again, just because the Premier League it's almost too established now. And I think if that is the case, I think there's going to need to be some sort of review done, because you can't have it every year where the three clubs who come up just automatically go back down again, which is almost like what it's becoming. There needs to be something there to
redress the balance effectively.
Yeah, to give these teams, just give them a chance. Do you know what I mean? They don't want to hide into nothing really when they come up at the moment. So it'll be interesting. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to see Sunderland and Leeds re-establish themselves in the Premier League. Burnley are a yo-yo team, so I'd happily see them go away and not come back. I'm fed up of seeing them up and down the division. So
I hate the fact that we have to go to Burnley again. It's like literally the worst
boring,
journey.
Whereas, like for me growing up, Leeds and Sunderland, Leeds were in the Champions League.
Leeds were the one, because Ellen Rowe, Tony Yeboah, all these lot.
It'll be good to see them re-established.
Who's the most likely, do you think, if any of those three teams were going to stay out? Who do you think would be the most likely?
I suppose you go Sunderland, would you? Just because the amount of investment they've put into the it's hard to say. They're all. I think
Granit Xhaka's back, which FK loves. He's the captain of Sunderland now.
Yeah,
never saw that one coming.
No, they've done some good buys, mate. They've got sort of a strong looking midfield with the signings they've made. So,
but they lost Joe Bellingham, obviously, who was one of their players.
I think he was always going to go, wasn't he? But no, I think they'll all go down. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing West Ham get relegated, to be honest.
Well, is it because the whole Rice thing as well? Is it just because of that?
It's just, they're a bit, they're boring, aren't they, West Ham? They can go. I mean, I know they give us 3 points at Upton Park every year, but we seem to struggle when they come to the Emirates. So I wouldn't mind seeing them go. But no, to answer your question, I think the three promoted teams will go back down, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think so. The history doesn't lie at the moment. It'll be very tough for them to.
I think you could see potentially Brentford struggle this year. I don't think they get relegated, but I think with the amount of players they've lost to go in, I think you could see them have a bit of a torrid type of season, possibly.
Yeah, I think West Ham, as you said, could get dragged into it. They haven't really bought that well, have they? They haven't got a striker as yet. They lost Mikel Antonio, didn't they, just recently? So, no, they did buy it. They got Callum Wilson.
He could be good there.
He could be
good
if he stays fit. But again, his fitness is a bit of a question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's go into some hot takes about the league then, this coming Premier League season. Who's your top scorer going to be?
What, in the Premier League?
In the Premier League.
Do we dare say Victor Gyökeres? Firing Arsenal to a Premier League title?
I don't think so. I think Haaland's going to do it. I think Salah's very good, but I think last year Liverpool were wholly dependent on Salah. I think it's a different league.
You know what? I'm going in with just full Arsenal content. Victor Gyökeres, top Premier League scorer, firing Arsenal to the title. That's
full in. No shame at all.
If I can't do it now, and when can I do it?
So who's your assist? Who's your assist?
With a 1-0 loss at Old Trafford.
Yeah, then next week it's all over. That's it. The season's done. End the stream, Dave. Who's going to be the top? Who's going to get the most assists? Kevin De Bruyne is obviously gone. Thank God. Who's going to get the most assists? Don't say Odegaard, because Odegaard hasn't been the lead assister for years.
Top assists. I'm going to go for Bukayo Saka. Fully fit all season. Corner taker. Now got a striker to play with. Bukayo Saka, top
good
assist.
Shout. Do you know what? Good shout. I'm going to go with you on Bukayo Saka. I didn't think about that. You just turned it for me.
Arsenal Hopium. Here we go.
Here we are. That's what we are. That's what the channel brings you. Golden Glove. I'm going to go David Raya. You don't argue with someone who's won it 2 years in a row for me.
Yeah. I mean, defensively, we've been very good. David Raya. I'd be happy to go with that, Ian.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. That concludes our look at the Premier League. We know you've absolutely, our opinions mean absolutely nothing to you guys. But we love it. Who doesn't like a good predictions? It's the thing at the moment, isn't it? Joe, while we've got just a few more minutes, let's just touch upon some of the transfer stories going around. Eberechi Eze, ever in the news. Spurs look like they are trying to get him as quickly as possible because obviously James Maddison has got a season-ending injury. Where do you think this is going to go? Does he end up at Spurs? Or by all accounts, he wants to join Arsenal, but we don't have the money at the moment. We are waiting on outgoings to happen. Where do you think the Eze deal happens, to Arsenal or to Spurs? Where do you think?
I think the Maddison injury changes things. I think Eze might end up there.
What a way to really hit the Arsenal fans in the gut, isn't it?
Yeah, but I still think we'll get someone. I still think we'll try and get another attacking sort of player.
Who is it? Go on, Joe, tickle us here. Titillate us with your...
I don't know, Yeamin. I am not an ITK. I have no inside information.
Joe, we know you're an ITK. You have mosque sources, as we call them. You know.
I'll put a phone call in this afternoon and I'll see. But no, I wonder whether... I know the Rodrigo thing, apparently his wages are massive and whatnot, but I wonder whether there's something to that still maybe to be had later in the window, which is what was kind of said at the start of the window when all this Rodrigo stuff first started. It was, if this deal happens, it'll be near the end of the window, sorry. So it might be him, but I just think Spurs now will be very keen on Eze because they have lost Maddison. So Eze can now demand a bit more money. Spurs will be willing to give him a bit more because they haven't got the options.
But if so let's play the scenario out. Arsenal come in. So Spurs bid, Arsenal come in. If you're Eze, where do you go?
It's difficult. Do you go and be the main man at Spurs? Maybe fire them to sort of a very good Spursy 10th place next year, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. It's hard. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if Eze wants to come to Arsenal and Arsenal want him, he comes to Arsenal. It's as simple as that. But I wonder, it's dragged on for such a long time now. I know we need to sell players, but it makes me wonder if it will happen. Again, I suppose it depends on if we can get some players sold. But I don't know. It seemed more likely to me at the moment with the kind of the news and the sort of all the noise out there that he goes to Spurs, sort of becomes their number 10, starts every week, becomes a mainstay of the team. At Arsenal, I think he's more of kind of a rotation player.
He'd be part of the squad, wouldn't he?
So it all depends on...
He'd still be a very good part of the squad. I mean,
don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking him at all. He'd still be a massive part of the squad. It's just, I'm not sure. I think offer the starting place at Spurs, I wonder if, like I said, given the age, I wonder if he goes there and takes that because he thinks, I want to go and be the main man somewhere. And that Spurs can offer him that, whereas Arsenal are obviously a far bigger club.
Fair enough. Another piece of news, obviously, Alexander Zinchenko has been in the ITK world because he's had a little bit of a cry, hasn't he? He's had a little bit of a weep about his autobiography's been out, and he's not been happy with it. He's been discussing how his wife has been sad that he's not been playing. How do you view this when a player does this kind of thing? Is it just to try and get the transfer move out? Is it to try and affect his place in the squad? Because for me, I think we're past Zinchenko now. I think, unfortunately, he's a good player, but he's not what we need. He's a very luxury player to me.
My immediate two reactions to this are autobiography at 28, whilst you're still playing, big red flag.
Players love it. Players love it, though, don't they?
Second take of this, would be, if it's that distressing for you not playing and you feel however you feel about it, either get better, work on your weaknesses and become a better player, or leave. I don't understand.
Crying about it won't help you. Won't help the matter.
I don't see the benefit of doing that. I mean, it's obviously a very frank sort of piece that he's done. He's kind of laid his cards on the table and said what he feels. I mean, the only credit I will give him, he's not played Arteta for it. He's not kind of said, the club's this, the manager's that. He's not done any of that. He's just kind of laid...
It's indirect, though. It's indirect, though. Isn't it a bit indirect, though? A bit of a jab at Arteta for saying, you don't play me, my kids don't see me.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it is. But I think he could have gone, I did everything I could. The manager's this, the manager's that, right? But he hasn't done that.
Has he really done everything he could? He hasn't.
Well, no, he hasn't, but he could easily, couldn't he?
Yeah. Do you think he'll move before the end of the window?
I think before that piece, I would have said no, because a lot of players like to hang on at Arsenal. He's obviously got a year left in London.
Yeah.
Whereas I wonder whether that will bring about a bit of discontent, if you like, from the Arsenal fans towards him, which may encourage him out the door. I heard Porto potentially interested in him today.
Or even Turkey as well.
Turkey as well. So yeah, I think it, like we said, I think we've moved past Zinchenko as a club, as a team. He doesn't sound particularly enamoured with his current role, so we're more than happy for you to go. So if you want to go,
Trossard, do you think he'll go?
I think so. I think the fact he hasn't been used in the last couple of pre-season games. I know he went off injured against Spurs, was it?
Yeah.
But by all accounts, it seemed like more precautionary than anything. The noise is building around him, so I think he'll probably go.
Fabio Vieira.
I wonder whether he will end up being a loan with an obligation to buy, because no one's really, all these players. Yeah, there's a lot of thing. We should sell this person, that person, get 20 million for. But the truth of the matter is, we are trying to sell players who we have cast aside, if you like. They're not. Liverpool can get big money for squad players because they use them. Our squad players, that we quite clearly don't want them, and they don't get rotated in. They're not a part of the team. So clubs aren't going to give us a lot of money because they know that we've got no intention of using them. We don't put ourselves in a position where we can get value for a player. And I think that's why we really struggle to sell them. So I think Trossard we could probably sell because obviously he was a part of our squad last year, scored important goals. People have seen him. Fabio Vieira,
proven Premier League quality, isn't it?
People like Fabio Vieira, I just think, what's the attraction to buy him? I mean, I don't know how he got on a Porto. He might have done okay. I've got no idea, but there's no real value in buying him, is there? Really, no one's going to break the bank for a Fabio Vieira. So I imagine he might go out on loan again, but he'll be with an obligation to buy for about 15 million or something silly.
And then what about Reece Nelson? Final one.
I think he could end up at Fulham, but equally, if he stayed, I still think when he's stayed fit, he's looked quite good. So I know his injury record is horrendous for us. I think for his own career, he needs to go. I think he should probably move on. But as a third choice left winger for us, if he's still there, I don't think it's the end of the world. But I think he'll more than likely go to Fulham by the sounds of it. It sounds like that's kind of picking up pace a bit again, doesn't it? So I think we could see the end of it.
Yeah, it's a bit. He's actually looked quite decent in pre-season, but again, I just feel the time has come for him to move on permanently if we can. Okay, I think we're going to leave it there, Joe. We've covered quite a lot of things. It's the big one this weekend, the opening games of the Premier League. Is it going to be all over by next week? The Premier League's all over. The title race is done.
Is this podcast going to be shut down by next Wednesday?
If the season's over, then we won't see for the next one, people.
No, but we go to Old Trafford. It's going to be a difficult game, but like I said, for years we've struggled there. It's got to change at some point, Yeamin. And this could be the year. This could be the year it all changes. This could be the year.
It could be we'll be in tears next week. We'll be, next episode.
This will be the weekend we avenge the 8-2, the 6-1, all them horrible results. Rooney dive in.
You get excited, Joe. Get excited for this
horrible moments we've had at Old Trafford. All those years we've endured. This is the year. Yeah. We're going to go there. We're going to turn them over. We're going to make it look comfortable, and we're going to announce ourselves as Premier League contenders in a big way come Sunday.
I love it. Look at that tone as well. It's got me hooked. I hope it's got you hooked out there in the podcast land. Thank you, everyone, as usual, for joining us for this one. We're gonna keep putting out the content. We're gonna hopefully do a post review / keep trying to do this weekly so that we can keep up with the Premier League. But for now, we're gonna leave it there. Thank you very much, Joe, as always.
Been a pleasure.
Gonna catch you next. Thank you very much, everyone who's listening. If you do like the content, please do subscribe to us on all the audio platforms. We are on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, Amazon, Please also check out our TikTok. We do post a few little videos there for the TikTok people out there, and you can see us on our X account as usual. But for now, thanks very much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Red Lines and Half Spaces.